Hey, what is up guys? Asarai here and welcome back to the channel. So for this particular video, we're going to be talking about probably a review of the most requested peripherals that have gone through my channel, and it's two of them. One being the Fantech Helios XD3 Pro and the other one being the Rakk Talan. Now, for TLDR purposes, yes, the price on the Helios XD3 is slightly more expensive, averaging about 2,000 pesos, 2,100 pesos, I think, depending if it has a sale. The Rakk Talan being a much cheaper variant, but not really by a lot, probably around 1,800 to 1,800 pesos, depending on the color variant of it, the black one being the cheaper one and the white one being the slightly more expensive one. Again, continuing with the TLDR, which would I let you guys buy if you asked me to choose between one of these two? I would probably go with the Rakk Talan, being that this is a mouse that is going for a feature-packed type of deal in its entirety, in its form. There's a lot of things that is, I think, done right by Rakk with this particular mouse, but this is, of course, of the newer options, as the XD3 has been out for quite a bit. Alright, so now that the TLDR is done, let's go to the nitty-gritty of it. Before everything else as well, do big shoutouts to Rakk as well as Fantech for sending me out these particular mice, but don't worry guys, that's not really going to change anything about my opinions with this mouse. Also, just a disclaimer, if I do say something that you might not like with this particular review, this is my unfiltered thought, guys. This is just something that I have just kind of felt when I've used some of these mice, and I will be telling you why maybe I don't like this particular aspect of that mouse, because I am using a certain variant of mice as well. So please do keep that in mind when we get into this video. Now, before I do talk about this ones, I do have to give you also a heads up that I did buy another wireless gaming mouse, which was the Ninjutsu Origin 1X, which costs about 4,300 pesos. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this one is because the Ninjutsu, which is actually on my desktop over there, I cannot get it. Maybe I can. Hang on. So here we are. So this thing is my daily driver for like the past week or 2 weeks, or I think nearing a month now, and I've just enjoyed the heck out of this because it's very, very light at 66 grams, and it's a right-hand ergonomic gaming mouse. It fits what my playstyle is, my grip style will be, and honestly, it's overall amazing. But the problem with that is that it comes with a hefty premium, again, of 4,300-ish pesos. But these two right now that have been sent to me by Rakk and Fantech, extremely good for the value. I am blown away by, I think, the evolution, the just maturity of both of these brands in just a span of a few years. So Fantech before, I wasn't really like pizzazzed, like wows, like there was no wow factor when I saw the Fantech offerings. But the more that I saw what they were kind of developing, you know, with everything, the more that I was kind of just leering towards, this is not looking too bad anymore. This is actually looking good. They have a lot of options and whatnot. They have, I think they're kind of looking at the budget gamer with a lot more flair, and they want to give as much features as possible. And I think it has kind of culminated with the XD3 Pro. So this thing, as you can see, has about the same shape as the Rakk Talan. I think they're just very much identical with just a bit of difference with them. Honestly, the clicks, if you can hear it, pretty solid. It has a DPI switch, has scroll wheels that are pretty fine. I would say the steps aren't as distinctive as I think you would have with other more premium mice or maybe wired mice. But again, it doesn't really take away from the experience. I think what does take away from the experience, at least from the buttons of the XD3 Pro, is that the side buttons I don't really like as much. I mean, if you can feel that, it feels very mushy and non-mechanical, if that makes any sense. Now, I don't really break or open my mice a lot, so I don't really know what the internals of this one is, but I'm not really as satisfied with the side buttons of this one compared to the other gaming mouse. But that hasn't really offed me with its effects, because if you click it, it still works proper. It does its job, and it's placed well enough on the mouse itself that if I use my my right thumb to kind of click for the mouse 4, it's great. A mouse 5 actually can reach it if I do use a palm grip, but I do use a hybrid claw slash palm grip, which only really allows me to use the mouse for without changing the placement of my fingers. But again, not really a big issue. Now, next up that I do want to talk about this one is that it does have two modes open. So it does have, I think here at the side, as you can see, there is an eco mode and there is what it just says on. So I think on is the one where you have the most power used. So you can get, I think, 1,000 Hz polling rate or something. It just gives you the most responsive kind of experience when you use the particular mouse itself. It's very just straightforward. I think it's just a really good gaming mouse. The coding on this is really good. Like compared to the Ninjutsu, this thing has horrible coding because you can just see I don't know if you can see it there, but there is like a bunch of finger oils that have just accumulated. I know it's hot in the Philippines, but it just takes so much and I have to wipe it multiple times. Compared to the XD3, coating on this one is really fine. Nice on the hands to handle. I mean, it does have also like a bit of the branding for Fantech, but doesn't really stay away from the experience. The RGB on this one, I did kind of turn it off because I want to get as much of the battery as possible. It's bright enough, although I do have some issues with it wherein whenever I click a button, sometimes the RGB would just vanish on both this one and the Fantech, or on the Rakk Talan. I'm not sure why, but that is kind of like an interesting fact to state. But it hasn't really hindered me because I don't really use RGB on my mice. I don't really care about it too much because most of the time my fingers are just kind of like, you know, covering it, so it doesn't really matter to me. What I do matter with is the RGB that you can have on the scroll wheel, which indicates the DPI. It's pretty good. It's fairly bright, and I think much better than the Rakk Talan. I think the pronunciation of the RGB here is much better than that of the Talan. It's very bright, it's very distinct, and it's more accurate than what the Talan has. So all in all, this is really good. If you're also wondering, since this is a wireless mouse, where did they put the USB receiver? It's right here at the bottom. I'm not really a big fan of this because if you can see right now, it's very easy to get, I think, over time when you put it in, get loose. So see already, like before it would have like clicks and stuff, but now you can't even like, that's me just pushing it, and then when I try to pull it, I don't even hear the click anymore. So it's very loose with just a few times of putting it in on the container, I think the portion where you store the thing. So do beware if you're gonna be bringing this to, like, let's say LAN parties or maybe to work. It might get caught, so you might want to keep that in check. Other things about this particular mouse is it does have a USB-C. So it's very easy to charge. Don't have to really worry about that too much. What I really do like about the Fantech, out of the box, the one real quality that I really love about this thing is that its mouse feet is really, really soft. Like, check this out. I'm gonna just wipe it with my shirt. Okay, so this is kind of like how I test my mice feet. So I'm not really sure if it's like PTFE or something, because I'm not really I'm not as akin to understanding what that is. I just know that if you have something of a good quality mouse feet, it will glide, right? Gliding is the most important thing because it gives you more accurate movement. It doesn't really give that friction, so you don't have to worry about your muscle memory ruining if you're going to be changing to this mouse. And I'm putting here's the thing, I put a lot of pressure on the mouse feet, but look at that. See this? I'm putting a lot of pressure. Like, you can see my finger really dig in there and it's still slipping. And that's actually a really good thing. So whatever mouse feet Fantech has used for this Helios, top notch. Very, very top notch. Now, as for the additionals that you do have with the Fantech XD3 Pro, it does come in with this plastic that does have a USB-C cable for charging. Really, really good. What's kind of also good about this particular cable is that it's pretty soft. I would say it's not paracord softness or paracord no resistance type, but it's very close. It's better than, I think, the older version of cables from mice, from like the rival 300 series from way back, you know, or the Zowie series from way back. Those cables were just terrible, and paracording has been a really good option. The reason why I'm telling this to you now is that if you're going to be charging this mouse, it doesn't take a while to charge it, and you need to use wired mode, and you have to play and whatnot. This is still a good option to use. Although I would still probably tell you to maybe have a mouse bungee or something or whatnot if you're still gonna get like an issue using this particular cable. But for me, it's really good. It does come in, of course, with its own extra pair of mouse feet. Really, really good. Lots more mouse companies should really do that. Like, what if we wanted to change the internals or clean it, right? Even if we want to recycle our old mice feet, sometimes it's just not going to have the same grip, not going to have the same smoothness. So having an extra pair without buying it is, I think, is a must now. It's a norm for all of those. So now that we're done with the Fantech XD3 Pro, let's go to the newer boy on the block, which is the Rakk Talan. Now, quickly enough, the Rakk Talan I think is probably my go-to for budget gaming, wireless gaming mouse options. Before, if you would ask me, I would always tell you to buy the Logitech G304, but this thing has really taken me away by storm. It's really just good. I think the clicks are fantastic, just as good as the XD3s. The scroll steps, again, it's just the same as the XD3. There's nothing really fantastic about it. There's nothing really bad about it. It's just, you know, middle ground. But that's good. It's a good thing. You won't really feel any difference with just using it. And the reason why I talk about the scroll a lot is because when I play games like CSGO, and of course, as you know me by Valorant, I do put the scroll step down as a jump. And this really has helped me. And if you watch some of my streams, which you maybe have, I have been like fragging heads with both the Fantech and this one. Before anything else as well, I did forget to mention the Fantech weighs about the same as a Logitech G Pro, which is about 90-ish grams, I think 80-ish grams. It's not bad, but you can really feel the difference with the weight of the mouse when you touch the Rakk Talan, because the Rakk Talan has been modeled to be a moddable gaming mouse, with the shells being very easy to remove, as you can see with that one. And that just makes it into a very, very moldable mouse for your taking. Aside from that, the RGB on this one, I don't really like it too much. I tested it out, very, very blinky and not as pronounced as the XD3 Pro. So if you're looking for a mouse that can show a bit more flair when you use it, XD3 is definitely the option to go here. But again, with both mice, I do just go for no RGB open, maybe just lights for talking about or just checking out the DPI. But I do put both mice on just 800 DPI, which I've gotten used about. It does have econ mode and power mode for when you use it. So if you want to play with it, it's very just, you know, you can go for battery saver mode or gaming mode, which again just uses the full capacity of the mouse. Next up that we have here also has a USB-C, very easy. Again, there's a shell that can be removed. It does have that open hole shell that does lower the mouse's weight, I think, to like 60, no, not 60, but like 70-ish, 70-ish grams. And then you have another one that is non-hold, so you can just do whatever you want with this one. Put a lot of, I think, designs, you know, go crazy, go wild. Looking at this very quickly, you can also see that the mouse's receiver is inside this. I do prefer this one. It feels a lot more secure compared to the XD3 Pro. So when you're trying to bring this somewhere, it's not going to fall or at least be misplaced, which is also pretty good. Now, what also is the thing that Talon has been talking about, or Rakk has been talking about with the Rakk Talan, is that you can remove a lot of the stuff here so that you can reach other components on the inside. And look at that, like with just a few motions of my hand, I have removed the backplate as well as the clickers. And you can start like fiddling inside the mouse. You can even see the switches that they have here. What are these? Like Omrons, I think, if they're blue. I'm not really 100% certain, but at least it's very accessible compared to other gaming mice out there. Even The super expensive ones don't really have this kind of a feature, and I do really like this one. What does remind me of the Rakk Talan is the Ponage Ultra Custom Symmetrical, because I've seen a lot of reviews of that one, and it seems very very close to this one, but the prices are wildly different. From this one is about $40 if you put it to US price, and the Ponage Ultra Custom, either or of them, is racking around $100 plus the accessories. This is, I think, a really good option if you guys are looking for something, and honestly, I really, really enjoy it. Without even changing anything, this off the bat is already a really good mouse. Now, one thing that I really, really dislike about the Rakk Talan, that I think the XD3 Pro has done fantastically, and it doesn't seem to be a big option, but when you have a product like this, when you buy a gaming mouse, whatever product you buy, right, at the start, you don't want to like say that, oh, I need to change this, I need to change something just to make it feel even better. Now, mouse feet on this, not really as good. If you can see the difference, there is a bigger mouse feet for the Rakk Talan, but the material much smoother for the XD3. Again, finger test. I'm putting a lot of pressure. See this? Okay, that was as much pressure as I put on the XD3. That's much smoother. Like, you can see my hand wasn't, or my finger wasn't going like that because there's very little friction, if none. And I don't know why that is. Now, it hasn't really hindered me, but I did feel it slightly compared to the XD3, wherein I swipe it on the keyboard, and or the mouse pad, sorry, not the keyboard, and it just feels really nice. What else can I talk about these things? Oh, yeah, of course. The Talan does have the same cable, I think, that the XD3 Pro comes in. So nothing much. It's very smooth, very easy to use. USB-C as well. Does come in with extra mouse feet. And here's the kicker for the Talan. It does have like this USB A to USB-C adapter. So if you want to like put your receiver here and then use it with the cable, you can do something like that regard. If you want to use the cable to bring it somewhere near the mouse, so there's no interruption with the signal. That's actually really smart. I think that's about it. So to finish off, if you would ask me again, I would always go for the Rakk Talan. But if you guys are looking for something a bit more aesthetically pleasing, I think the XD3 is something of that regard. This thing is definitely still a beast in its own right, and it does get some time for me to get used to, because the reason why I also like Talan a lot more is because I have been using wireless gaming mouse that are very light, and the XD3, it's a solid mouse, but it just feels way too heavy for me now that I've gotten used to the lighter gaming mouse space, or the ultralights, where at least with the Talan, it's entry level for that regard because of the holes, and I think because of how they've kind of structured this one. I think they might be even selling more of the lighter shells, possibly in the future. What doesn't take away from these mice, even at their price point, is that they're very solid. I did that because of one thing. I always hit my mouse on my keyboard. It's a GMK, a glorious keyboard, and you know that if you've Googled that, it's very solid, and I've slammed every single one of my mice on the left side, at the side, and it hasn't had any sensor issues. Also, listen to this. Shaking it, no internal rattling. Wait. Oh. There is some internal rattling with this one, but not as much. So the thing that was making a lot of noise is the receiver. So that was the one thing as well. You know, I told you, a little bit of shake can boop this thing off of its storage place. So be careful about that if you're gonna go for the XD3. Anyways, I might be going and making another video in the future to see how it kind of pans out. And I'm going to be making another separate video for my ninjutsu, which I have really enjoyed using. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a longer one because we did have this kind of comparison video. If you guys didn't like it or you liked it, please do put your comments in the section down below. I will be reading some feedback because it's the first time that I did a kind of head-to-head video. Usually I do just separate videos about this, but I really was kind of curious what I would kind of think about when I compare these two particular mice. Anyways, that's all the time that we have. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will be seeing you on the next one. Asarai, peace out.